The exact date appears to be lost to time. But the story goes that at some point in the early 1900s, in the dead of night, Dr. Charles Finney, a medical practitioner living in Atchison, Kansas, heard a frantic knock on his door. He opened it to find a woman, clearly distressed, holding her 6-year-old daughter. The young girl, named Sallie, was in an incredible amount of pain from what Dr. Finney quickly diagnosed as acute appendicitis. Fearing the appendix was on the verge of rupturing, he rushed her to an operating area within his home. But in his haste to save her, the legend claims he made a critical error, beginning the incision before the anesthesia had fully taken hold. The girl died on his operating table, her final moments filled with terror. This is the widely spread origin story of one of the most infamous haunted locations in America, the Sallie House. But while it makes for a creepy tale, it most likely isn't true. Or at least, there's no evidence that it is. There are some elements that are, though. Dr. Charles C. Finney was a real medical practitioner who did live in the house. In fact, the house was built in the mid-1800s for the Finney family, and a number of them did pass away within its walls. But extensive historical research has yielded no birth certificate, no death certificate, and no census record of a girl named Sallie ever being treated or dying there. Some locals have even suggested the story was fabricated to attract tourism. But maybe these encounters that so many people claim to experience aren't the lost souls of the dead at all. Maybe they are manifestations of something else. In this episode, we're going to be visiting the Sallie House and going over the terrifying experiences of the Pickman family and their shocking, violent encounters with something that appeared to be sharing their home with them. In 1993, Tony and Deborah Pickman, a young couple expecting their first child, moved into the house at 508 North 2nd Street. What followed was one of the most well-documented hauntings of its time, in large part due to the TV series sightings, which carried out numerous investigations into what they called the Heartland Ghost. Because of this, there are visual examples of many of the phenomena the family encountered. I'll link to the sightings episode in the description if you want to watch the clips in full. There are so many encounters the Pickmans describe. I strongly recommend delving into some interviews with the couple if you want to learn even more. But here we go. It all started fairly innocently. Within a month or so of moving in, they began to notice odd noises and flickering lights. They chalked it up to the quirks of an old house. After their son was born, the activity became harder to dismiss. The baby would wake up crying almost immediately anytime he was left alone in his nursery. One evening, Tony walked into the nursery to find several stuffed animals, normally kept on a shelf, arranged in a perfect circle on the floor. He asked Deborah if she had moved them, but she swore she hadn't. They carefully put the toys back, left the room, and moments later heard the light flick back on. When they went back up, the teddy bears were once again on the floor. This was the first time something had happened that the couple simply could not explain. The activity soon took on a more personal and aggressive nature, directed almost exclusively at Tony. It escalated from cold spots and whispers to physical attacks. While in the kitchen one day, Tony felt a sharp, burning pain on his back. Deborah lifted his shirt to find 3 distinct scratch marks appearing on his skin. This was a shocking escalation. The entity in their home was capable of inflicting physical harm. The attacks grew more frequent, with Tony waking up to unexplained scratches and, on one occasion, blisters forming on his wrists that looked like small fingerprints. The family brought in psychics, one of whom told them over the phone that she sensed the spirit of a young girl named Sallie. She suggested Sallie didn't like men, perhaps associating Tony with the doctor who she believed had tormented her. The family tried to embrace this theory. Deborah, feeling a maternal instinct, even bought a doll for Sallie and left it as a gift. Yet, the violence against Tony continued, and mysterious fires began breaking out. One story, though it may be an embellishment that's grown with the legend, claims a doll burst into flames during their son's birthday party. The family's situation attracted the show sightings. In one of the most chilling segments, the crew filmed as fresh, red scratches appeared on Tony's body in real time. After 2 years of escalating terror, the Pickmans reached their breaking point when Tony felt an unseen force try to push him over a second-floor railing. In 1994, they fled the house, leaving many of their belongings behind. After the Pickmans left, the Sallie House became a national paranormal hotspot. Investigators from across the country came, hoping to capture their own evidence. The house rarely disappointed. Teams consistently report classic signs of a haunting. Equipment failure is common, with fully charged batteries draining almost instantly. Investigators have documented sharp drops in temperature, disembodied voices, and physical sensations ranging from gentle tugs to aggressive shoves and scratches. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, have been particularly compelling. These are recordings of voices not heard at the time. Several intelligent responses have been captured, including a female voice saying something like, "You locked the wrong door," and a male whisper seemingly commenting on an investigator's feather hair clip. These suggest a consciousness capable of observing and reacting. The nursery remains a focal point of activity. The toys are still there, and visitors often report they've been moved. Multiple trained guide dogs, on separate occasions, have reportedly refused to enter the room. The house has been featured on numerous paranormal shows, including Ghost Adventures and BuzzFeed Unsolved, with each team leaving with evidence that deepens the mystery. But some of the evidence didn't quite fit the narrative of a child's ghost. The malevolence directed at men and the sheer violence felt different. It was a discovery in the basement that offered a new, far more disturbing theory. The basement of the Sallie House is an oppressive, dirt floor space. For years, investigators felt a heavy energy there, but it was a symbol reportedly found on the floor that shifted the entire narrative. Some accounts claim a pentagram was found etched into the concrete. The origin of this marking is debated and not well documented. Some say a tenant after the Pickmans, allegedly involved in occult practices, created it. Regardless, its supposed presence introduced a terrifying possibility: that a doorway had been opened to something inhuman. This theory casts the entire haunting in a new, sinister light. Many paranormal experts now believe the entity is not a ghost but a demonic force masquerading as a child. In demonology, presenting as a vulnerable child is a common tactic to gain trust and lower a person's defenses. Deborah Pickman's maternal feelings towards Sallie could have been exactly what the entity wanted, allowing it to embed itself more deeply while directing its true, violent nature at Tony, who was more resistant. This theory could explain the inconsistencies, the mix of childlike activity with extreme, malevolent attacks. It might explain the oppressive energy many seasoned investigators report, which they often associate with demonic infestations. Other claims, which are part of the house's evolving folklore and lack credible documentation, include a luminol test revealing blood spatter and satanic symbols, and a blood-stained sweater found in the attic. Deborah Pickman herself has since come to believe this darker theory, stating that she no longer thinks it was a little girl, but a demon that deceived her family. This turns her attempts to mother a lonely spirit into a period where she may have unknowingly welcomed a malevolent force into her home. Today, the Sallie House stands vacant of living tenants. It has been turned into a tourist attraction, managed by Visit Atchison and open for self-guided tours and, for the truly brave, overnight stays. A waiver citing the potential for personal injury is required to enter, a chilling reminder of the very real physical harm reported there. The rules are strict: no Ouija boards or seances. For safety reasons, the basement is currently listed as inaccessible to visitors. Hundreds of people visit each year, and reports of paranormal activity continue. Guests document the same phenomena: equipment malfunctions, moving objects, and unexplained scratches. The legacy of the Sallie House is a complex one. It's a site of unverified tragedy, a source of terrifying paranormal claims, and a subject of intense debate. Is it the restless spirit of Sallie, lashing out in pain? Or is it the far more terrifying theory that has come to dominate the conversation? That a powerful, non-human entity is using a child's story as a mask? The evidence can be interpreted to support either theory. The moving toys point to a child. The intelligent EVPs and violent physical attacks point to something else entirely. The Sallie House remains one of the most compelling paranormal cases because it refuses to provide a simple answer. It exists in the gray area between legend and evidence, forcing us to confront the possibility that the things we can't see can hurt us. The doors are open for those who dare to enter, but the truth of what resides inside remains locked away, waiting in the shadows. I will leave it to you to decide what you believe is haunting the Sallie House.